I'm back. Okay, here's the 5-second version. I haven't made a video for like 5 months because I got married and I have been spending time with my wife. But I am back on track and I will be making videos in the future. I want to talk to you today about a very important tip that I have had to deal with recently, and that is how to get back into a speech once you have stopped working on it, okay? And this can be really difficult. I'm not talking to you people who write in your to-do list one day, conquer the world, and then the next day they have North Korea under their command and they have a treaty of peace with the United States. Like, if you're that person, this is not the video for you. I'm talking to the person who has literal staring contest with their speeches. Like, the speech is staring at me. I'm staring right back at it. It wins because it's an inanimate object. Here's my 5-step or 4-step or whatever step plan for getting back into a speech that you've gotten tired of. First, you want to make a to-do list item for today that is just read your speech through. That's it. Not practice your speech. If you just write practice my speech, your brain has all kinds of questions like, how long should I practice the speech? Do I have to really read it out loud? Do I have to remember what it said? Like, what do I have to do? Just write down, read my speech. Because that starts you on the track towards getting back into that speech, and it'll only take like 5 minutes, unless your speech is really long. But anyway, that is the first step that you want to take. Second step that you want to take is to write down on your to-do list, edit my speech, okay? And you can break this down into even smaller tasks if you want to. It can be edit the first paragraph of my speech, if you're particularly lazy, or edit the first page of my speech, or just edit my speech for 10 minutes. Whatever it is, something that you're comfortable and you know that you will be able to do that day, okay? Number 3. And I'm assuming this is sequential days, but if you need more time to fade into it, that's okay. You can read your speech for 3 days in a row. You can edit for 5 days in a row. Now that you're comfortable, you move to the next step, which is to read your speech out loud. Number 4, try to say the speech out loud to yourself without looking at the paper. Now, have it by you, so if you need to check it throughout your practice session, that's totally fine. But this is just a way of starting yourself on the track to memorization. Now, here's the important last step. If you're like me, you come back to the speech, you read it, and you're no longer inspired, right? Have you ever had that? You have a speech, you really liked it, but you no longer really care about it. You think, man, this speech really isn't that good. This is what you need to do. You need to talk to someone who will re-inspire you about your speech. You need to read the speech to them, or have them read it, or maybe even perform it for them. Whatever it takes, get them to see your speech and get their comments on it. They will probably like it even if you don't. Let me tell you a little story. I was feeling uninspired about my speech. I started working on it again, and I printed it out and left it on my desk, then headed to work. When I came back from work, there was a sticky note on it, and I was like, wow, there's a thief in the house. Actually, it was my wife. My wife had read my speech, and she wrote, Gio, I read your speech, whoops, heart, and I cried, comma, so yeah. And so I started crying. I'm just kidding, but it really inspired me because here I was thinking, the speech isn't that good. And my wife comes and reads it. She doesn't even hear me deliver it. And she found it so good that she was crying. You need to remember that the other people perceive your speech differently from yourself. You're your harshest critic, okay? So if you have a speech that you haven't worked on for a while and you're just not feeling inspired about it, give it a test run in front of someone else and have them talk to you about it. You'll find that you can be re-inspired through their eyes as they look at your speech for the first time. A final little piece of advice and encouragement that I want to give you here. If you've taken a long break from your speech, you are actually at a perfect position to do some really high quality editing. And here's why. When you first write the speech, your brain starts creating connections and reasons for everything that you wrote. And it's hard to actually revise it significantly. Like, this is the way I wrote it down. This is the structure I'm going to use. It's hard to really come at it from a completely new angle. But when you return to your speech, it's almost like you're reading it for the first time. And you're able to see elements of it that just don't fit. And man, what if this sentence was at the end of paragraph 3 instead of in the introduction? Or what if this sentence or this entire paragraph was moved over here? That would make it flow better. You're able to see things that you normally wouldn't be able to. So yes, if you have a speech that has been sitting somewhere, not being used, and you want to get back into it, that's a good idea because you can see some changes that need to be made and you can make it into an even better speech than if you had never taken a break in the first place.